And welcome in, Wes Mitchell here, Chris Clark with our special guest, Austin Stogner. This is another exclusive interview presented by Garnet Trust. Garnet Trust is the platform for fans and businesses to connect with the University of South Carolina student athletes through name, image, and likeness deals. In a new era of college athletics, the University of South Carolina student athletes are allowed to profit from their NIL. As a fan, you can now help fund NIL opportunities for them. Garnet Trust creates content and experiences that you can enjoy that also financially benefit student athletes from every sport. As a business owner, you are now legally able to have South Carolina student athletes endorse your product or service or attend your events. Have questions about how to get started or want to contribute to Garnet Trust? Head on over to GarnetTrust.com. Yeah, so obviously the news broke not too long ago, I guess a couple of weeks ago, that you're headed to South Carolina. So I know the question, I don't think you've done maybe many or any interviews since that news broke. So the fans out here have been wanting to know, what was it about the Gamecocks when you made this decision? Give us sort of the full story of why you're going to end up here at South Carolina.
So, you got to coming out of the high school, you kind of go to, when choosing a place, you kind of go based on like wants and needs of the program. Did the program want you? And do they need you? But then coming as a grad transfer, I kind of got just like really one shot at this thing. So it's got to work. So you go off of just straight needs. And at South Carolina, there's a need for a tight end in this offense. And then you go somewhere you're trusted, where you trust the people there. And there's no one I trust more in this industry than Coach Beamer. So that just, those two led up to the decision, and it's kind of the perfect fit for me.
Yeah, Austin, appreciate you again, man, taking time to do this with us today. That's where I wanted to go next. Shane Beamer obviously was your connection to the Gamecocks from his time at Norman there as your position coach. So walk us through that relationship. That was a really interesting comment that you had, that you don't trust anybody more than Coach Beamer. Why is that? Tell us a little bit about that relationship.
Yeah, I mean, me and Coach Beamer, we're really tight at OU, and he's my favorite coach I've ever had, and he gets me. He knows how to get like the best out of me, and I trust him. He's got an awesome family, and he's awesome, and I trust him. So that's why I came to South Carolina.
Let's maybe go through this process of entering the portal. Obviously, dude, I mean, you were highly recruited out of high school. I'm sure you expected there to be some interest, but I guess there's a little bit of, when you go in the portal, you don't exactly know who's going to reach out. You don't know what schools are going to come out and offer you again. You're kind of going through the process again, even if it's a little bit different this time around. So how quickly after you go into the portal do you hear from, Coach Beamer, and kind of just take us through what that process is like? I understand, or at least I've seen it reported. Maybe you went to Ohio State, went to maybe Iowa State as well. How quickly did it happen, and how did it sort of play out from there behind the scenes?
I kind of knew I wanted to talk to Coach Beamer, like for sure. He was on the top of my list. And then when I went in the portal, it was like a tornado that struck. I mean, it was just, my phone was just blowing up, and it was kind of crazy and to calm down. But then, I connected with Coach Beamer I think I went in the portal on a Monday or Tuesday, I think. And within like the hour, I was scheduled to be in Columbia on Thursday. So it kind of like really came up quick. And then, but talking to them. And then, so I went to Columbia on that Thursday, Friday, and then came back and kind of just took it all in. And then I set up there's like the 2-week period where you could take visits. And so I knew I wanted to go 2 other places just to make sure. And then I set up the visits to Iowa State and Ohio State that week. And I went to Iowa State on Thursday and Friday. And then I went to Ohio State on Saturday and Sunday. And then that Monday I made my decision. So it was kind of a whirlwind of events, but South Carolina was at the realm of it.
So going back to that Thursday and Friday South Carolina visit, the first one that you took, what all did you see? Kind of how was it structured, and what were the highlights for you of that visit that kind of made you really go, okay, maybe this is the place for me?
Just to like start the visit off, like just shows you what kind of guy Coach Beamer is, and he wasn't doing this just because he was recruiting. It's just the guy he is. So I land at the airport at like 12:45 a.m. and the guy there picking me up is Coach Beamer. So I mean, that was just pretty cool. Just the type of guy he is. You wouldn't expect anything less for him, but he's just awesome. And then that next morning we go and visit the football ops building, and then take it around there, and then we go to lunch. And then visit campus, go meet with academics, and then we had a dinner that night with all the coaches. And just my favorite part about that is just like the people about South Carolina is the people in it and the culture that Coach Beamer has built. I mean, those guys love working up there, love Coach Beamer. They love being up there. I mean, it's kind of different from whatever. And, they just love being up there. And, they always talk about like going up there, watching extra film, like enjoying that and enjoying working with each other. So that was just a big part of me, that like the positive environment that I was walking into.
So had you been to the University of South Carolina? Have you been to the state of South? Was that your first time ever to step foot here, or had you been here before?
Never been here. Never been to South Carolina before.
Okay, so you visit. Obviously, Coach Beamer, it sounds like, was extremely involved in the entire process for you.
Yeah,
Yeah, awesome, man. Obviously you'll get to South Carolina. Coach Beamer will be your head coach. Coach Eric Kimberly will take over as your position coach. How well have you started to get to know Coach Kimberly? I guess you met him for the first time on the official visit. What was sort of his message to you? Both just kind of letting you know a little bit about the place and how they sort of envision you fitting in this offense at South Carolina.
I met Coach Kimberly at dinner that night. Actually, he was been recruiting and he came in for dinner. But he seems like a really, really great guy. He's he's kind of like a South Carolina like legend, I guess he says. So he's like, if you need anything around South Carolina, like around Columbia, you let me know. Been here for forever. So he's like that. And then coaching style, he was like, I'm gonna, I understand that this is football, but it's also something bigger than that. So he's going to teach you like life lessons. He's like, he always talks to guys about like some quotes he has that he likes to use. So he's a football coach, but he understands that this is, bigger than football, and football is a game of life. So he teach you life lessons as well. So that's really big. And it kind of just shows you the type of guy that he is and what he stands for. And everybody on that staff, Coach Beamer I was talking to him about the coaches. I wouldn't bring anybody up here that I don't like. So those guys are the highest of standards, and that's the kind of that breeds the culture in.
Yeah, I know we're going to have more questions about the recruiting process in general, Austin, but to move to your role in this team, you mentioned earlier that there was a need tight end. Nick Muse obviously leaving. He played almost every snap, or in some games every snap this past season. So obviously, Carolina fans have been spending a lot of time Googling your highlights, checking you out on YouTube and stuff like that. But give us your self-scout, Austin Stogner's self-scouting report in terms of what you're going to bring to this offense and your skill set.
I feel like I'm a player. I win one-on-ones. That's what I do. I use my body to create mismatches. I feel like there's no one necessarily that can cover me. From you pick a linebacker on me, then I'm too fast, too shifty for them, and then a safety, they're too small. So I feel like creates a really, really good mismatch. And just coming in with Spencer, we have a connection all the way like through high school. So he understands me, understands how I move, how I move out of my breaks, how I run my routes. So I mean, it's a really good connection. But I'm a guy who blocks as well, who gets the job done on that end, and that's it.
Yeah, you mentioned Spencer. Coach Beamer actually sort of credited your dad as kind of being like, "Hey, Coach, you might want to give Spencer a call. Like he might be interested in hearing from you." What was this always? Did y'all talk about this as like a package deal? Did it kind of just work out like this behind the scenes? Give us a little bit of insight on kind of how it played out with you, the two of you ending up at the same spot.
So yeah, I mean, he came when I was on my visit. He was asking me, how it was, and I was like, dude, you got to come up here. This place is crazy, and just trying to like get him in there. And he was like, all right, I'm gonna look at it. And then my dad kind of, talked to Coach Beamer about it, about how it might be an option for Spencer, and it kind of, then we kind of talked back and forth. But yeah, I got to give my dad credit. He was recruiting pretty hard for South Carolina, just trying to get him here. So I mean, he did a lot of work, and yeah.
There was a lot of talk, Austin, like within the recruiting industry when both of you guys went in the portal, you and Spencer, that y'all maybe wanted to play together. Like, how accurate was that? Was that like a definite, a maybe? If it works out, that would be really cool. Like, how did you guys approach that?
I think it was more of a, if it works out, it'd be cool. I was gonna go. You got to go to the place best for you. And I feel like this place is best for me. And I also feel like it's the best place for Spencer too. I mean, it's a NFL style offense, get used to that NFL lingo and, being under center and learning all that stuff. And it worked well for me because I feel like that's what kind of player I am, to kind of do it all.
Yeah. And I know, you gave us your self scout for the Gamecock fans out there who have maybe only seen Spencer play, here and there. Maybe they've seen the highlights. You said you've known him since high school. What can you tell us about what we can all expect from his game? Give us your scouting report of Spencer Rattler on the field.
He wins. That's it. That's all. He wins. He's got a rocket arm. So that's it.
That's
all you need from a quarterback. Spencer wins, and he can throw it anywhere on the field. So you pick it, he's got it.
That's just about the same. It shows you and Beamer are close. Y'all had pretty much the same answer. People asked Beamer what he saw about Spencer Rattler, and he said wins. That's what I saw at Oklahoma. So yeah, definitely. What, by the way, Austin, here's my next one for you. Your favorite route, especially coming from Spencer. What do you like to run the most? Like what's your best route? What's his best ball to you?
Probably he throws a good he throws me a good back shoulder ball, like when I'm running a inside fade. He throws a good back shoulder ball, and he likes me across the middle too. So I'm a big target, and he likes to throw me across the middle.
Yeah, you seem to like catching balls down the field more than a lot of tight ends. Like I don't know if that's just the highlights I happen to see, but is that a big part of your game? Like I feel like every highlight I popped up, you were like catching the ball much further down the field than you see most tight ends being comfortable, going and getting the ball. Is ball skills and just being able to go up and get the football down the field a part of your game that you've worked on, or just comes naturally, or am I an idiot and that's not even the case?
No, for sure. I catch the ball a lot farther downfield. I kind of really didn't get any of those really short routes. So all the balls I caught at Oklahoma were, deeper balls. So I think that's the part that I'm good at. I'm really good at it from high school, playing like a tight end receiver. And, I got a really good receiver coach down here, and David Robinson trains a lot of the guys. So, I mean, I feel like I can train with a lot of NFL guys, and, just learning from them how to run routes and stuff. I feel like that's a place that I'm really, really good at. So
here's an interesting question for you, Austin, given that, you got some time before you get to South Carolina. What are you going to be doing between right now and when you get to South Carolina to kind of get yourself ready, to be able to step in and make an impact as soon as you get to South Carolina?
So during quarantine, so this is kind of off track, but during quarantine, I worked out here, and, I feel like that's when I was at the best shape I've been in my life. And, I came out hot, but, so I've got a really, really good plan. I've got some guys here that I like. Like today, I'll work out for sure, like 2 times a day. And then sometimes maybe like run and make it a third, but I'll work out in the morning, probably early around I'll probably push it back since I don't have class. So I'll go 8, probably work out at 8, work out again at 10, and then probably 7 and 10 work out. I got some strength guys I like here. And then I'll either work with I work with David Robinson, obviously the receiver trainer, that he gets me right, and then I'll work with an O-line coach here. So I'll doing a lot of work, a lot of stuff, and it kind of gives me an opportunity to work on my body and the stuff that I need. And I feel like I'll be in the best shape. I love my team that I got here, so I think it'll be great.
Wow, so you're working with a true O-line coach, I guess, to work on kind of the blocking elements of being a tight end, and then you're working with more of a receiver specialist for those sides of things, I guess.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So I hadn't got the O-line like pushed down like for sure yet, but I'm trying to get him to work with me. So I think it'll get worked out, and then for sure I've been with David Robinson since I was like in 7th grade. I think there's a receiver here committed that works for him from South Lake. I forgot his name, but yeah, he works with David Robinson.
Yeah, Landon Sampson, receiver.
Right.
Yeah. By the way, I was looking back, man. Rivals actually did a pretty good job covering your recruitment. Like there are photos of you from, like, I don't know, man. You look like you might be in the 7th grade. Like, have you like, were you? How big time of a recruit were you out of high school? Because I have a picture. We were debating on if we were gonna, like, I don't know, embarrass you with the photo, but the first photo.
Pull it up. You got to pull it up.
Yeah. Like,
there you go. Oh yeah, that's freshman year.
Okay, so this is freshman year, Austin. But dude, there's a lot. Like I guess what was the original recruiting process? Like how early did it start for you? Because it looked like there were interviews with you, or at least pictures from like when you were in Pee Wee ball or something.
Yeah, it certainly looked like it. But so I played sophomore year. I had an offer like in my sophomore year. It was my first time playing varsity. Played, and then I got an offer like mid-November, and then that February I went to like the Nike camp, and I won MVP there, and then that's when stuff started to pick up. And then through junior year I committed summer going into junior year, and I had just about every offer in the country. And then
all right, so Austin, break down when you are going to be arriving in Columbia and getting started officially with your South Carolina career.
So I got a kind of different deal. I got 15 hours left to graduate from Oklahoma, and if I would have transferred in right now, I'd have to take something near 45 hours from the University of South Carolina. So it's kind of, I'm just so close from graduating from OU. I might as well just finish it out. So I'm going to take 15 hours. I got them all moved to online classes. So I'll be in online. So I'll stay here in January and February. And then in March, I plan on moving up to Columbia and, watching spring ball and learning the offense and kind of basically taking like an unofficial visit every single day. So I'll probably be one of the most often recruit on campus ever. So that'll be good.
No doubt, man. No doubt. By the way, so you mentioned, everything you said, I think your words were you felt as good as you have in a long time when you've been working out with the guys you've been working out with, your team you have there. First of all, what weight are you at right now, and what's kind of your goal weight?
At 250, 255, and I'll probably stay here.
Okay, I got you. So I was reading up on you. I don't know if all the Gamecock fans out there necessarily know, and not to bring up like what I'm sure is probably a tough time in your life, but I know you dealt with an injury. And I guess from what I read, it wasn't just the injury, it was kind of the after effects of that injury. Do you want to talk about that just a little bit? And I was reading a story that said it sort of maybe changed your focus as far as taking care of your body off the field and just how much you appreciate being able to play football and all those things. I'm sure that sort of maybe has maybe framed your life a little bit. It sounded like it was a pretty big deal. So just in your own words, do you want to kind of talk about that experience a little bit, man?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll give y'all the rundown. So we're playing Kansas. And before the game, it was COVID year. So before the game, I wasn't feeling too well. I was like, I'm coming down with strep throat. Like I knew I was, but I was like, I don't want to bring it up because then they'll maybe test me. If I test positive, I won't be able to play in the game whatsoever. Probably Probably should have just gone and got tested, but whatever. But I play in the game, and I'm playing well. Not feeling great, but I play good. Catch a ball from Spencer on a play up the seam. Guy goes low, get hit right above my knee, kind of get a deep thigh bruise, and and I'm all right. I come out of the game, don't play again. It hurts, but I should be out probably like a week. We had a bye week. I was going to be able to play the next week against Oklahoma State, but then that night I'm fine, whatever. Next morning, wake up, it's a little bit worse, not too bad. Go out through the day, and then that night I wake up from a nap, and I'm just hurting bad. Whole body's hurting, my knees hurting terrible, 10 times, a lot worse than it was before. And so I call my Chris Watson, the trainer. I'm like, hey, I need to go get tested for strep or whatever. I have strep. I feel awful. Go up there, have like 103 fever, and my knee is hurting so bad. And then he sends me home with some medicine and some hydrocodones. Like, all right, here you go. Just see how we feel in the morning. And then within like the next 30 minutes, the pain is just, I can't even talk. I'm like, hey, call Chris. I'm like, hey, you need to come take me to the hospital. It's the worst pain I've ever experienced in my life by far. And he takes me to the hospital, and I spend 12 days total, 10 days total in the hospital. And they take the blood out, and they just think it's pressures, think it'll get better. So they stick me overnight. And then within the next 3 days, I'm in the hospital running a 103-degree fever. My blood pressure won't go below like 180. So for the next like 4 days, and my knee's hurting the worst. Like I can't even function at this point. Didn't get out of bed. Worst pain I've ever felt in my life by far. And finally they pull blood out of my knee, and it's like basically orange. So like, oh gosh, we got to get you into surgery right now. I go into surgery within that. When they pulled it out, whatever, I'm in surgery within 30 minutes. And my dad told me this recently after they like pulled him out of the hallways, like, we're going to do everything we can to like save his life, but if that means taking whatever, we're going to do that. And he was like, all right. And so, but luckily I got lucky enough where they just kind of went in there and just cleaned it out, got all the infection out, and God had his hand on me, and I'm very lucky to go through that. And he had his hand on me, and I'm healthy. But I lost 35 pounds in 10 days. So, I mean, I lost a lot of strength. I came back. I was on IV antibiotics for like a line they would put in my arm, and like an IV, and I was on 24-hour penicillin for like a week for 2 weeks. And then I was on another medicine. Then I took antibiotics for another 2 weeks, get my blood tested all the time. But, after I was still down 35 pounds, and I wasn't allowed to work out during then. But as soon as I got the IV out, I was allowed to work out, and I could barely even do a push-up. So, but then I made it back and played in the bowl game. Like 30 days later, I played in the bowl game. So that was really big time. Kind of showed me, whatever life throws at me, I got God on my side, and he's bigger than anything, and he can make anything possible. So, I mean, I thought there was no way when I was coming out of the hospital, like looking at myself, how I was feeling, that in 30 days I'd be able to play in the Cotton Bowl on one of the biggest stages. And, I caught a pass in there, so it was kind of cool, but it was just great to be back.
Oh, that's obviously an amazing story. Kind of at a loss for words, but do they know how? I mean, did they discover maybe the infection because you got hurt in the game? And that, like, do they know what happened? Like how you contracted it?
So with the deep thigh bruise, it got hit. And so like with a bruise, what it is in your body, since I'm a professional at this now, but the body is like, you get hit and then it like internally bleeds. So it's like bleeding into my knee. And then that got infected with strep A is what I was infected with. So that just got infected. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Crazy.
Yeah. But I got so lucky to play, and it could have got a lot worse. So it was like I only had one surgery, and the doctor's like, this could be anywhere from 1 to 30 surgeries. So I got really, really lucky.
So Austin, what did that do just kind of for your approach to football and life? Just, I mean, it went from, what I'm sure was a painful football injury to like, they're telling your parents, hey, this could be like life threatening, or, you might not walk again, stuff like that. Did that change your, I guess, perspective on football and life as well?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I was, living my dream, living everything I worked for, playing football at a high level, and in 10 days, not being able to do a push-up, fighting for your life. So, I mean, that's obviously crazy. It just shows me how, I'm grateful for it. I'm glad that it happened. Like, not glad that it happened, but I'm grateful that it happened. It taught me a lot and about life, and taught me about how great my God is and how great he is to put me through that and get me out of it and show me the positive in that. So I'm grateful for it. And it just showed me in football, man, it can be taken away in an instant. So I'm going to give it everything I got and put it in the Lord's hands.
Yeah, Austin, last one I got for you here, man, to push things forward to when you do get to South Carolina. You mentioned earlier that when you go in the portal and you're looking for your next home, you look at people and you look at, opportunities. So obviously you have a great opportunity at South Carolina to step in. So to that end, what are your goals, short term, long term, when you get to South Carolina? What do you want that to look like in your career in Columbia?
When you kind of put goals on it, kind of just like you're kind of reaching for that, but I kind of just want to live in the right now. In the next football plays 7 seconds, so I want to live in the next 7 seconds. How am I going to get better in the next 7 seconds? So if I take care of the next 7 seconds and do my best and give it all I got, and I'm just keep stacking those, and I'm gonna get to where eventually I want to go. So
Austin, great stuff, man. Like I said at the beginning, we really appreciate it. So for the Gamecock fans out there listening, I guess they haven't seen you play in person yet. You maybe haven't met many of them yet. Do you have a message for the fans? I know, what do you know about the fans so far from what you've heard? And do you have a message for the Gamecocks who are going to watch this video?
I mean, Gamecock fans are crazy in a good way. I mean, they're blowing up Twitter and everything. So they're a very passionate fan base, and you're getting a just as passionate player that loves to play the game and it's competitive as hell and loves to be out there. So
awesome. That is Austin Stogner, former Oklahoma tight end, future Gamecock tight end. He will be at South Carolina in March, and then we'll be playing for your Gamecocks on in the fall this Saturday. So Austin, again, man, we appreciate the time. We appreciate the Garnet Trust for sponsoring this interview. GarnetTrust.com if you want more information. For Chris, I'm Wes. Austin, have a good one, man. We'll see you soon, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me on. Go Gamecocks.